Tito.
Yeah, so you're gonna Madra Shabbat. Shabbat, rest. All right. Now you're gonna state your registry. Young man Tito. Bonza Balawan. Banya Shala. Young man Tito.
Bonza Balawan. Banya Shala.
And you're gonna Amajim. Right, Barak. And you're gonna Yahweh. Bahashim. Yahushai. Barakathon.
Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Barakathon.
Now you're gonna slide up here. Did you let him know? You locked the door? All right, no sweat.
There you go. We got the chalice.
Left hand. There you go. Now, what he says, y'all repeat after him, all right? Go ahead. Loud and clear.
La Yashal. La Yashal.
La Yashal. Go ahead, grab it.
Set it back exactly how it was. All right. Sar, Asalakia. Amajim, which means to stand.
Did you check it? Did you check it?
Check what?
Where the east is? Where the east?
Gotcha.
I got it.
Go ahead and check. I'm trying to think. It gets. There's no.
You're all right. You're all right.
Is that way over here? Yeah. It's over here. Sar, which means to turn. Wapan Yakwadam, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to start with the Lord's Prayer in the ancient Hebrew and then translate into the English. Abanawa. Shabbat Shemayim. Wadash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakwutka. Saba'ah. Ratazayka. Hayah. Aisha. Ba'arataza. Kawa. Hayah. Bashemayim. Adalanawa. Lacham. Kal. Yawam. Wasalachlanawa. Kabawafnawa. Kasalachnawa. Kabawafyanawa. Wala'ah. Tabi'ayanawa. Banasaya 1. Abal. Hawashaynawa. Mayan. Rai. Hayah. Laka. Hamalakwa. Waha'Allah. Wa'ataparas. La'aywalamyam. Aman.
Now we're going to do the Lord's Prayer in English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Next prayer we have is the power prayer. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Baba Kusha, Nathanawa, Hakat, Lara Pa'a, Kal Makala, Ukal Madawa, Hakat, Latahar, Hamatazarayim, Hakat, Lahakwayo, Hamathyam, Hakat, Al-Rawka Wat, Hatama Allah, Lagarashan, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, the water, Aman. I'm going to do the power prayer in English. Lord, in the name of Yahushua,
please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness.
The power to heal all manner of sickness.
And all manner of disease.
And all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out.
To cast them out.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. Next up is the blessings prayer. Barakatah Yahweh.
Barakatah Yahweh.
Wa Yahushai.
Wa Yahushua.
Wa Miyaka Allah.
Wa Meyakiyah.
Wa Allahayim.
Wa Alahayim.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Matazab Ya'ah.
Aluwap Yahana.
Alawap Yahana.
Ha Aluwapim.
Ha Alawapim.
Hasaranyam.
Hasaranyam.
Hakwatazayanyam.
Hakwatazayanyam.
Hakal Yayalyam.
Hakal Yahalyam.
Wa Ha'akwathyam.
Ha'akwathyam.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Bahasham.
Bahasham.
Yahushai.
Yahushai.
The water.
The water.
Amen.
Amen. Now we're going to do the Isupk blessings prayer in English. Bless you, Yahweh.
Bless you, Yahweh.
And Yahushua.
And Yahushai.
And Michael.
And Michael.
And the angels.
And the angels.
Commanding General Yohana.
Commanding General Yohana.
The general.
The general.
The captain.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
And the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahushua.
In the name of Yahushua.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it. Next prayer is Psalm chapter 121. Asha.
Asha.
Ayanya.
Ayanya.
Al-Haharyam.
Al-Haharyam.
Ma'ayan.
Ma'ayan.
Yaba'a.
Yaba'a.
Azariah.
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 Ma'ayim.
Ma'ayim.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Asha.
Asha.
Shamayo.
Shamayan.
Wa'aratiza.
Wa'aratiza.
Al-Yathan.
Al-Yathan.
Lamawat.
Lamawat.
Regalka.
Regalka.
Al-Yanawam.
Al-Yanawam.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Hana.
Hana.
La'a.
La'a.
Yanawam.
Yanawam.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yayashan.
Yayashan.
Shawamar.
Shawamar.
Yasharala.
Yasharala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Shamarka.
Shamarka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Tazalka.
Tazalka.
Al-Yad.
Al-Yad.
Yabyanka.
Yamyanka.
Yawamam.
Yawamam.
Hashamash.
Hashamash.
La'a.
La'a.
Yakaka.
Yakaka.
Wayarach.
Wayarach.
Balayala.
Balayala.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamarka.
Yashamarka.
Makal Rai.
Makal Rai.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Athnapashka.
Athnapashka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Yashamar.
Yashamar.
Taza'afka.
Taza'afka.
Waba'aka.
Waba'aka.
Mayatha.
Mayatha.
Wa'aid.
Wa'aid.
Iwalam.
Iwalam. Now we do Psalm 121 in English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from Yahweh.
My help cometh from Yahweh.
Which made heaven and earth.
Which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee.
He that keepeth thee.
Will not slumber.
Will not slumber.
Behold.
Behold.
He that keepeth Yasharala.
He that keepeth Yasharala.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Shall neither slumber nor sleep.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy keeper.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
The sun shall not smite thee by day.
Nor the moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
Yahweh shall preserve thy going out.
And thy coming in.
And thy coming in.
From this time forth.
From this time forth.
And even forevermore.
And even forevermore. Last prayer, Psalm chapter 83. Alahayim. Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Damayalaka.
Al-Thacharash.
Al-Thacharash.
Wa al-Thashakwat.
Wa al-Thashakwat.
Al-Kaya.
Kaya.
Hana.
Hana.
Awayabyaka.
Awayabyaka.
Yahama Yawan.
Yahama Yawan.
Ra'ash.
Ra'ash.
Al-Imka.
Al-Imka.
Ya'ira Yamwa.
Ya'ira Yamwa.
Sawada.
Sawada.
Wayatha.
Wayatha.
Ya'ai Tazawa.
Ya'ai Tazawa.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Al-Tazapawanyaka.
Amarwa.
Amarwa.
Lakawa.
Lakawa.
Wanakakidam.
Wanakakidam.
Magalia.
Magalia.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Yazakar.
Yazakar.
Sham Yasharala.
Sham Yasharala.
Iwada.
Iwada.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Nawa'ai Tazawa.
Nawa'ai Tazawa.
Laba.
Laba.
Yakhadwa.
Yakhadwa.
Al-Yaka.
Al-Yaka.
Baryath.
Baryath.
Yakarathwa.
Yakarathwa.
Ahalya.
Ahalya.
Adawam.
Adawan.
Wa Yashamayala,
Wa Yashamayala.
Ya Mawaaba,
Wa Mawabu.
Wa Hagarium,
Wa Hagari.
Gabal,
Gabal.
Wa Imawan,
Wa Imawan.
Wa Imalak,
Wa Imalak.
Halashath,
Halashah.
I'm Yashabya,
I am Yeshabia.
Tazawar,
Tazawar.
Gam Ashawar,
Gam Ashawar.
Nalawa,
Nalawa.
Imam,
Imam.
Hayawa,
Hayawa.
Zarawai,
Zarawai.
Kayabyan,
Kayabya.
Banachal,
Banahal.
Kwayashwan,
Koyashwan.
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa.
Ba'ayan,
Wayan.
Da'ara,
The Isaac.
Hayawa,
Hayawa.
Daman,
Daman.
La'adama,
La'adama.
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa.
Nada,
Nada.
Yab Mawa,
Yamawa.
Kairab,
Kaira.
Wakaza Abba,
Wakaza Abu.
Wakaza Ba,
Wakaza Ba.
Wakatazar Manai,
Wakaza Zarina.
Kalda Sayukamwa,
Kalis Iskamwa.
Ashar,
Ashar.
Amarwa,
Amara.
Naya Rasha,
Nair Shah.
Lanawa,
Lanawa.
Ath,
Ah.
Na'awa,
Nawa.
Alahayam,
Alahaya.
Alahaya,
Alahaya.
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa.
Kagalgala,
Kagala.
Kakwash,
Kakwash.
Lapanya,
Lapanya.
Raha,
Rakwa.
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash.
Thabaira,
Tabaira.
Ya'ira,
Yair.
Wakalahabab,
Wakalahabat.
Thalahat,
Talahat.
Harayam,
Harayam.
Kan,
Khan.
Tharadapma,
Haradapma.
Basairika,
Basairika.
Wabasa,
Wabasa.
Wapathka,
Wapata.
Thabahalam,
Tabahalam.
Mala'a,
Malala.
Panyaham,
Panyaham.
Kwalawan,
Qualawan.
Wayabakwashwa,
Wayabakwashwa.
Shimka,
Shemka.
Yahawa,
Yahau.
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa.
Wayabahalwa,
Wayabahalwa.
Ayai,
Ayai.
Wayakaparwa,
Wayakaparwa.
Wayabadwa,
Wayabadwa.
Wayadaiwa,
Wayadaiwa.
Kaya Athar,
Kayata.
Shimka,
Shemka.
Yahawa,
Yahau.
Labadka,
Labaka.
Al Yawan,
Alyawan.
Al Kaha,
Alkara.
Aratazar.
Aratiza. Looking at these people. Now we're going to do Psalm 83 in English. Keep not thou silence, O God.
Keep not thou silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace,
And be not still.
and be not still,
O God.
O God.
For
For
lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
thine enemies make a tumult,
And they that hate thee
and they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
Against thy people.
against thy people,
And consulted.
against
Against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
and let us cut them off.
and let us cut them off
From being a nation.
from being a nation,
And the name of Israel.
that the name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
But they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together
With one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee,
The tabernacles of Edom.
the tabernacles of Edom,
And the Ishmaelites.
and the Ishmaelites
Of Moab.
of Moab,
And the Hagarenes.
and the Hagarenes,
Gabal.
Gabal,
And Ammon.
and Ammon,
And Amalek.
and Amalek,
And the Philistines.
the Philistines,
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Ashur has also joined with them.
Ashur has also joined with
They
them.
have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah,
Do unto them.
do unto them
As unto the Midianites.
as unto the Midianites,
As to Sisera.
as to Sisera,
As to Jabin.
as to Jabin,
At the brook of Kazan.
at the brook of Kaisan,
Which perished in Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles.
Make their nobles
Like Oreb.
like Oreb,
And like Zeid.
and like Zeid.
Yea.
Yea,
All their princes of Zabah.
all their princes at Zabah,
And as Zalmunna.
and as Zalmunna,
Who
who said,
let us cut them off. Oh, let us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves
The houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God,
Make them like a wheel.
make them like a wheel,
As stubble before the wind.
and stubble before the wind,
As the fire burneth the wood.
as the fire burneth in wood,
And as the flame sets the mountains on fire.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them
With thy tempest.
with thy tempest,
And make them afraid.
and make them afraid
With thy sword.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame,
That they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Lord.
O Lord,
Let them be confounded.
let them be confounded
And troubled.
and troubled
Forever.
forever.
Yea.
Yea,
Let them be put to shame.
let them be put to shame
And perish.
and perish,
That men may know.
that men may know
That thou.
that thou,
Whose name alone.
whose name alone
Is Yahweh.
is Yahweh,
Art the most High.
Are the Most High.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth.
All right. With that, we can mashabia, which means to sit. Another one. Good. Go ahead.
Shalom Yasha Allah, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Barakatah, Yahweh Shemar Al-Thun Bashem Yahushai. We're the Isupk, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We be teaching the truth of the Bible that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are the real Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Today, we are celebrating the feast of the memorial of the blowing of trumpets. You understand? Trumpet, this is considered a trumpet in the ancient times. But of course, trumpets were made out of brass, typically, right? So, you know what I'm saying? This is what we use. Israel is a nation of people that is very well inept when it comes to music, when it comes to sounds, when it comes to the vibrations of frequencies that create the sounds and the music that we make. You understand? It's a part of our existence. It's what drives you. It's when you're driving down the road. You understand? Listening to music, that's what gets you through your day. Music also was used in times of war. Music was also used for celebration. Music was used in time of sadness. Music is a big part of who we are. You understand? And the trumpet, and the sounds of the trumpet is an alert to let you know it's a call to action. It's a call to action to return to your culture. It's a call to action to return to your heritage. In the Isupk, we are re-raising up an ancient culture that has been dormant on the earth for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And in doing so, we are uniting all 12 tribes of Israel, of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians so that we can return back to our original heritage. And so that's why we celebrate these feast days. And these feast days, as we go into the scriptures, we're going to find out that they are to be held very much so like any Sabbath service. In fact, it's going to tell you that in the Bible. We're going to cover that today. We're going to cover that in the ancient Hebrew and then also in the English. You understand? Everybody understand? And so it's important to learn these things because our culture is different from everybody else's. When you go to school, when you go to work, when you go to anywhere around society, you need to understand that what we're building here is different from everybody else. So the way that we celebrate things, the way that we operate is very militant. And that's the reason why horns and trumpets are sounds that we use in the military, in our military. It's something that our enemies have taken pieces and bits from our culture to use in their own culture. But the truth is, it's in the Bible. And we're going to read that today. We're going to read Leviticus chapter 23. You understand? We're going to read Leviticus chapter 23. And what's like, sir? It was specific verses in there. Did you want us to start at verse 1 or did you want us to get straight to
23 or 22? Start at verse 22.
So for those of you that are going to be reading, like my man Tito here, young man Tito, what we're going to do is we're going to go into the Bible Hub app. You want to get the interlinear version so that we can read the Hebrew version right along with the English version. And we read it in Hebrew first because that is our language. They both have
Square. You got a square? Charge a square?
Again, we're in Leviticus chapter 23, and you said verse
22.
22.
Charge got another one? Bar. Anybody got a charger block? Go ahead, start it off, right? Y'all go ahead, continue.
So you, of course,
22 to 20. Just go all the way to 28. Finish it out, all right?
Come sir. From verse 22 to 28. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 22 through 28. All right, just repeat after me. I got you. So the first word is wabakwataza.
Wabakwataza
Rakam.
Rakam.
I'll put it all together. Wabakwataza Rakam.
Wabakwataza Rakam.
Atha.
Atha.
Kwataza war.
Quataswa.
Aratazakam.
Aratasakam.
La'a.
La'a.
Thakala.
Takla. Pa'atha.
Shadak.
Sadak.
Bakwatazarak.
Quatasrak.
Walakwat.
Walaquat.
Kwatazayarak.
Quatasa
Yarak.
Yarak.
La'a.
La'a.
Thalakwat.
Dalaquat.
La'ainaya. La'ainaya.
La'anaya.
Walagar.
Walagar.
Tha'izab.
Ta'isar.
Tha'izab.
Ta'isar.
Atham.
Atham.
Anya.
Anya.
Yahweh.
Jehaw.
Allahayakam.
Alahayakam.
Verse 23. Wayat Dabar.
Wayat the bar.
Yahweh.
Jehawa.
Al.
Al.
Mashah.
Mashai.
La'amar.
La Amar.
Verse 24. Dabar.
The bar.
Al.
Al.
Banya.
Banya.
Yasharal.
Yashara.
La'amar.
La Amar.
Bachadash.
Bahadash.
Hashab Yaaya. Ha Shabaya.
Hashabaya.
Ba'achad.
Bahad.
Lachadash.
Lahadash.
Yaya.
Yaya.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Shabathwan.
Shabathwan.
Zakarwan.
Zakaron.
Tharawai.
Tharawai.
Bakwara'a.
Bakara'a.
Kwadash.
Quadash.
Verse 25. Kal.
Kal.
Mala'akath.
Mala'akath.
Ibadah.
Ibadah.
La'a.
La'a.
Ta'ishawa.
Ta'isaw.
Wahakwar.
Wahakwar.
Batham.
Batham.
So putting that together. Wabakwar Batham.
Wabakwar Batham.
Asha.
Asha.
La Yahweh.
La Yahweh.
Verse 26. Wayadabar.
Wayat the bar.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Allah.
Allah.
Mashah.
Mashah.
La Amar.
La Amar.
Verse 27. Akah.
Akah.
Ba'ishawar.
Ba'ishawar.
La Khadash.
La Hadash.
Hashab Ya'aya.
Hashai Ya'iba.
Hazah.
Hasa.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Hakaparayam.
Hakaparayam.
It's like a Hapakariam.
Hapakarim.
Hawa'a.
Hawa'a.
Makwara'a.
Makwara'a.
Kwadash.
Quadash.
Yaya.
Yaya.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Wa'anaya.
Wa'ainayam.
Thumb.
Thumb.
I put that together.
Wa'ai.
Naya thumb.
Nayathum.
Naya thumb.
Wa'ai nayathum.
Atha.
Atha.
Napashath Yakam.
Napathashakam.
Napashath Yakam.
Napashas. Takam.
Wakawar Batham.
Wakabar Batham.
Asha.
Asha.
La Yahweh.
Nayahawa.
Verse 28. Wakwal.
Wakwa.
Mala'akah.
Mala'aka.
La'a.
La'a.
Ta'ashaw.
Ta'asaw.
Ba'itazam.
Ba'itasan.
Hayawam.
Hayawam.
Hazah.
Hazah.
Kaya.
Kaya.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Kapariam.
Kaparim.
Hawa'a.
Hawa'a.
La Kapar.
La Kapar.
I Salakia. I la yak Salakia. I la yakam.
I la yakam.
The what? Lapanya.
Lapanya.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Allahayakam.
Alahayakam.
That's in the verse 28.
All right, let's go ahead and read it in the English.
Leviticus 23. Start at verse 20.
Before we get started, everybody clap it up. Everybody, you know what I mean? Good to see everybody here. You know what I mean? Isupk San Antonio in the building. This water right here, I'll just use this one. I'll take some. We got some drink though. If I could.
23.
That cup got it in there.
Or either that or something else, or whatever you got. You know what I mean?
Leviticus,
I'll take it.
Chapter 23. You start. What did we start? 24 or 22?
22.
Leviticus
23 and 22. But I'm glad everybody here though. It's good to see all of the brothers and sisters, even the young kids are here. You know what I mean? What we're doing right now, what we're going over is very important for us to know. The Bible says that we're supposed to remember these things throughout our generations. So now before us today, we have generations here. We got brothers here, we got kids here. You know, and one day our kids will have kids and they'll pass down these traditions to their children. And it's important for us to know because this is our culture. These are the days that we are supposed to be celebrating. These are the days that we're supposed to be memorializing. And, you know, it's good for us to know because in turn of us celebrating our holidays, our holy days, only thing that we're ever taught is the holidays of this society. You know what I mean? So the white man and every other nation of people are doing an excellent job of teaching us and our children their customs and their traditions. And it's up to us to do an excellent job of teaching our children ours.
That's right.
You understand? Because this is what they're going to use to govern their lives, their way of life and their political views, their behavior, so on and so forth, right? So let's get into it about the feast day we're dealing with today. And we're going to have the brother just read it in the Hebrew, which is our native tongue. The Lashawan Kodash, that's the language of our people. A lot of the societies today have formed their languages off of this language, the Lashawan Kodash. This is the oldest language in the world. All right, so we're going to go ahead and read it now in the English so we can start breaking down this holy day. Go ahead and read.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 22.
Good.
And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field.
Okay. Hold it right there. So it says when you reap the harvest of your fields, you don't glean the corners of your field. Who knows what this is talking about when it says when you reap your harvest? So who reaps their harvest? What type of person reaps their harvest? Go ahead. A farmer. That's correct. So a farmer today, the farmers are local farmers and they have farmers that work for USDA, right? USDA has a control over a certain amount of land and territory that they farm animals and livestock and grains and fruits and vegetables and things like that. And that's what ends up in our stores. Some people have private farms and stuff that they send their goods to stores as well. But this is talking about the farmer, which is the most important resource that we have, land. From land, everything we need is there. Water comes from the land. Vegetables come from the land. Fruits come from the land. You can raise animals on land, horses, right? That you can ride on. You can raise goats and cows and sheep. All of the things that are lawful for us to eat, you can have those things. So that's where the value is at. In the time of Adam and Eve, Adam was in heaven because the Lord gave him dominion over all the land and all the fish and the birds in the sky. And he also gave him dominion over the land too. So everything that every other nation needed, they had to come to him to get because he had the best land, the best fruits. He was growing. The other nation didn't even understand how to plant in rows and so on and so forth. So there's an importance of understanding that. So now we're talking about the farmer, which, like you said, the harvest is the land. Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest.
Go ahead, read it from the top one more time. Bible shot.
And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field.
So when a farmer takes his vegetables and stuff out of the field, it says that he should not take the corners of his field out. He should not take the corners of his field out. Who knows why this is? Why the Lord is saying that when you are a farmer, you have land, when you reap your harvest, leave the corners of your field there. Who knows why? Copy R. Shemai one. That's right. Both of them are correct. Both of them are correct. Those things are left there because the Lord don't only want people who are fortunate to eat. He wants people who are unfortunate to eat.
Right.
Because our God is a just God. He's fair, right? In this society, there's a bunch of poor people who are starving in the streets that don't have nothing at all to eat. They're eating out of trash cans. Right? Because the farmers are sending everything to the stores, even the stuff that's rotten, they're sending to the stores. They're genetically modifying grapes and oranges and stuff like that. Why? Because they can make more money. I guess that's what it's all about to the society. It's all about money, 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 money. But to the Most High, it's all about taking care of humanity, taking care of people, making sure that everybody eats. Because our God is a real God. He's a just God, right? And when we are in rulership, when we come back to these laws and commandments and this way of life, and he puts us in rulership, there won't be any more people starving. Because we'll have laws like this that will allow people who are unfortunate to be able to eat.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest.
Out of what? What's the last part?
Of thy harvest.
Okay, go ahead, continue.
Thou shalt not leave them. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor.
That's right. That's what the brothers just said. It's for the poor. It's for the poor of our people and other people to eat. Because the Most High considers the poor. He considers them. In a society where the poor people are just, what are they told when you're poor? What are you told? What are poor people told? What do they tell people that are poor? Go ahead. Are you right? Huh? Figure it out. What else? Go ahead. Get a job.
Right.
Get up. Stop being lazy. Pull yourself up by your own bootstrap. They look at it as a crime for a man to be poor. Like it's something that he's not doing right. Maybe it's just this society, the reason why he's poor. Because the same people that would take food out of a field and clean the field empty, even all of the rotten food that fell to the ground that's been sitting there for days that's starting to go bad, they send that to the grocery store to sell to us. Those same people are the ones that are creating, real estate for people to be able to live in that costs way more than we can even afford. Way more than we can even afford. The economic structure that we're in, this economy that we're in, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are at the bottom of it. We're at the bottom of this economy. We're not making money how other nations of people make money. We don't have the opportunities that other nations of people have. If we do, then we're fortunate. But it's not under our control the way it should be. Because there are people who are doctors and lawyers who have degrees, literal master's degrees, that cannot get jobs, that are working in Walmart, right? And it's that way by design. It's that way for a reason. So this society is the reason why they're poor. And it's the reason why they're starving. And they say things like, get off your behind and go work and get a job, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But that's all insult to injury. All right, but the God of Israel, the God of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, he has laws that govern our way of life to make sure people eat, even though they don't have money. Go ahead and continue.
And to the stranger.
Mm-hmm. And to the stranger as well, right? Because the strangers, people who are non-Israelites, they're the strangers. Even he has mercy and compassion for them. Go ahead and continue.
I am the Lord your God.
I am the Lord your God. Continue.
Verse 23.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord spake unto Moses.
The Lord spake unto who?
Moses.
The Lord spake unto Moses. The Most High deals with certain people. And he chooses a man to be over the congregation, over the nation. He doesn't have many leaders. He has one leader at all times. And in this time, the leader was who? Kapiyar. Moses. Moses was the man that the Most High chose. And the other times, after Moses died, who did he choose? Was it just left to everybody to just work together and figure it out? Or did he choose another man? He did choose another man. Who was that? Joshua. That's correct. And it goes on and on and on and on. After one ruler leaves, another ruler is chosen by the Most High. The Most High chooses the ruler. And now our eternal ruler today is Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who we know as Jesus Christ. That's our king today. He's going to be our king for all of eternity. When Christ comes back, he's going to rule the entire earth, and it's going to be our kingdom when Christ comes back for blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, go ahead and continue.
saying, and speak unto the children of Israel,
Go ahead.
saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets.
Right, a memorial. What does a memorial mean? What does it mean, memorial? Go ahead, Ayara. That's right, to remember. So we have to remember these things. We have to remember this. Do they tell us to remember 9/11 every year? They tell us to remember 9/11. I mean, 9/11, it was a tragic time in history, but whoever says remember the transatlantic slave trade, whoever says remember, Black Wall Street, the bombing of Black Wall Street, Tulsa, Oklahoma, who says remember the Trail of Tears, while Native Indian brothers was marched down, trails into reservations, right, where old elderly people died, pregnant women died. You understand? That couldn't make that journey. The feeble, they died. Who says remember that every year? Nobody. We remember Christmas every year. Every year we remember Christmas. So it's like I said, these other nations are doing a good job of helping making us remember their traditions, their history, their culture, and it's up to us to be able to hold fast to our traditions and our culture, right, and our way of life, our history. And our history, most importantly, is in this Bible. And we're going to remember the things that are in this Bible that were tragic, that were not only tragic, but that were glorious. We're going to remember the things in history that were tragic, the transatlantic slave trade, all those blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians that died in that time that didn't get justice. We're going to remember them. And we're going to teach our children to remember them every year. Every year, we're going to remember them. All right? Go ahead, continue.
A holy convocation.
A holy convocation. No different than saying a holy day or a holiday. You understand? Everything that the white man and the Chinese man and all the other nations of people established their government and their society by is framed from how we established our government and our society. They get holidays from holy days. Right. That's where they get holidays from holy days. And holy days, what does the word holy mean? We gotta get some new people in here. Y'all brothers is some scholars in here. These brothers, the scholars. Go ahead, young man Tito.
Separate.
That's what holy means, to be separate. Holy means to be separate. Something that's holy you would see as pure, right? Pure. Well, how can something be pure if it's like everything else? Mm-hmm. It can't be pure. It's like any other thing. It's like everything you know. But something that's separate and unique. You understand? That's unique. That's something that's different. That's something that's special. And the Lord said that we're a holy people. We're a special people. We're special because we're holy. We're separate. What separates us? I mean, a lot of people always say all the time that we're all humankind. Yeah, we all have arms. We all have legs. We all speak. We have ears and eyes. There's people who are my color, who are African American, so-called African American, and there's people that are my color that are Mexican, that are Dominican, that are Arab, that are African. So what is it that sets us apart? What is it that makes us different? Somebody answer me that. Go ahead, Amber. That's true. We are the 12 tribes, but what makes us different? Go ahead, Ayara. Well, that's what makes us. That's our 12 tribes. We are the 12 tribes according to our lineage. We are the descendants of Israel. Since you raise your hand. Okay, but I'm not talking about us specifically in this room in the truth. I'm talking about all of Israel. What makes us separate? What makes all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians separate and holy? Go ahead.
And the Most High chose us?
That's not it. That's not it. What is our culture? What is our culture? Give me an example of our culture. Kabar.
Feast day, sir.
Give me something, that's cool, but give me something a little bit more plain that we can understand. All right, I'm gonna break it down. Go ahead.
Yeah, bring it down for me.
All right, Most High.
I don't know. It's a great answer.
No sweat. What makes us? Okay, give me salt of the earth right quick in the scripture. Somebody give me salt of the earth.
Come on, sir.
Let me get salt of the earth in the Bible. I'm gonna show you what makes us holy, what makes us separate. Right? The Lord gave us something. He didn't just choose us. He gave us something that he didn't give anybody else. And it is our culture. But people get our culture mistaken for what he did give us. They don't understand that it is our culture that he gave us. Go ahead.
Okay. This is Matthew chapter 5, verse 13.
Go ahead.
Ye are the salt of the earth.
Right. We are the salt of the earth. Meaning we give the earth flavor. We give the earth flavor. We give the earth something that it doesn't have. All right. When you cook your food, before you put salt in that food, it really don't have that taste that you're looking for. When they say we're going to add salt, what do they say they add salt for? For taste. You need that in your food somehow, right? The earth needs us, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. What is it that we have? Go ahead.
But if the salt have lost its savor,
If the salt lost its savor, then what? Things are going to taste bad or what? Continue.
wherewith shall it be salted?
Go ahead.
It is thenceforth good for nothing.
Right? It's good for nothing. So without this thing that we have, that the Lord has given us, we are good for nothing. Without this thing. Without this thing that makes us special, we are nothing. We're just like everybody else. We're not holy without this thing that I'm asking y'all what it is. Go ahead and continue.
Come. But to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men.
Right. Without this thing, we're just like everybody else. And not only that, we're at the bottom of everything. That's why we're at the bottom right now.
That's right.
We're at the bottom of every nation on the face of the earth for this reason right here. Because we've lost this thing that the Lord gave us that makes us special. Go ahead and continue.
Verse 14. Ye are the light of the world.
Go ahead.
A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid.
Go ahead.
Verse 15. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel.
Right. So this is all the things the Lord is comparing Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians as a light. He's comparing us to a light that gives people sight to see. And you don't put a light under something. You don't put a light under something. You put it up high so it can light the whole room up. Right? What is this light? What is this flavor that we have? What did he give us? Go ahead, copy art. The law, statutes, and commandments. That's what it is. The law, statutes, and commandments is our culture. It's what God gave us to separate us from everyone else. Because while every other nation was making food out of bat brains and making, soup out of, eating meals that are moving on their plate, we had laws that governed us against those things. We cannot eat bats. Bats is not food. You understand? We have laws that say we cannot eat pork. Pork is not food. It's not our dinner. We don't supposed to eat horses. We're supposed to ride horses. You understand what I'm saying? There's laws that govern our relationships and tell us how to be husbands, how to be wives, how to be children, right? The Bible doesn't say honor your mother and your father, right? It talks about the laws of marriage, it talks about how to be a brother, right? To love your brother as thyself, to go to he and he alone, to work out your issues. All of these things are our culture. And without these things, we become like everyone else. We do anything and everything. We treat our brothers like criminals. We treat our brothers wrong. We treat our women terribly. We treat our husbands terribly. Our kids are neglected. These things are what makes us strong in this Bible. That's what makes us the light. Because we're supposed to be the ones that are not only have these laws that the Lord gave us, but we're supposed to be showing the world that these are the things that are good for us. Because if we rule the world in a time when it's going to happen, Christ coming back, right? In the time of Christ coming back, he's going to rule the world with these laws that are in this Bible. And every man, including the Chinese, the Arabs, the Africans, the East Indians, they're all going to follow these laws. And it's going to make the world a better place. Go ahead and continue.
Come. Neither do men light a candle and
Take me back to Leviticus.
Come on, sir.
Go ahead.
Ye shall do no servile work therein,
Go ahead.
but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Right. So offering of a fire made by the Lord. So made offering by fire is a meat sacrifice. Right. A lot of times the Lord talks about like Esau and Jacob, where he told them to go get them a meat offering. And Jacob went and got the lamb, and they cooked the lamb or prepared the lamb for their father. Same thing with who was it? I forgot who it was. Was it Abraham? Abraham's son, if I'm not mistaken. Was it? Say it one more time. Isaac, right? Isaac as well. Like this is a traditional thing to prepare a burnt offering to the Lord. And that's a lamb. We cook the lamb, we kill the lamb, we skin it, take the meat, the best lambs, the best parts of the meat, you know what I mean? The best parts of the lamb, and we cook it as an offering to the Lord, and we feast like we will be doing today. Right? Go ahead and continue.
Verse 26. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, also on the 10th day.
Hold on. Did you pass? Okay, we passed. Take me back to 24. Salaki. Take me back to 24. We forgot that we didn't get some things.
Verse 24. And speak unto the children of Israel,
Okay.
saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath.
Amen. So in the seventh month, right? In the first day of the month, we have a Sabbath. This is a high holy day. It's the 7th month, the first day of the month every year. Go ahead and continue.
Shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets.
A memorial of blowing of trumpets. That's what we're gathered here today to memorialize. Today is the 7th month and the first day of the month. And we're honoring the feast of the blowing of the trumpets today. This is our holy day that we're celebrating today. What is this holy day about? Someone let me know what you think this holy day may be about. Shemai, you had your hand raised first. Say it a little bit louder. Right? That's true. That's correct. So in our history, our people blew the horn to signify that we were going to war. That means when you at a time, and we were in Israel, wherever we're at the time, when you hear that horn go off, the specific note that they play or the specific rhythm that they play let you know something. It alerted you of something. It alarmed you of a particular thing. At this time, like he said, there was a time when the horn was blown and we knew it was time to get our shields and our swords, our men and our young men. Time to get our shields and our swords because there were enemies that were coming to attack our city. And we had to protect our women. We had to protect our children from these threats.
Right.
That's what it was about. What is another thing? What is another memorial? What did we blow the trumpets for also in our history? Copy all. Say it one more time. Meetings, right? That's correct. So it was a certain distinction of a sound of a horn. That means we all need to gather together. It means when you hear that horn, everyone is to come out of their homes, meet at a whatever the central location is, because most likely there's a message that's about to be given to the people. Right? In the time when the Lord told Moses to speak unto the children of Israel, after he got the message from the Lord, he told the men to sound the horn, to gather the people together so he could speak to the children of Israel. Go ahead,
I just wanted to add to what you're saying too, because the scripture talks about how important communication is. Nowadays, we have technology to assist us in our communication with each other, like the internet, cell phones, and things like that. But back then, how did we communicate? With trumpets, with sounds that were loud enough to reach a broad spectrum of people so that they can hear what needs to be heard without needing too much information.
That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? To make it simple.
That's right.
And it was to strengthen our communication so that we, as 12 tribes, as we originally were supposed to be, and now we are coming back to, can be stronger.
That's right. What he's saying is so heavy. And of course, in these times, all 12 tribes were gathered together. We lived in a land where we were neighbors. The Zebulonites, the Manasseh, Issachar, who are the so-called Mexicans, Judah, who are the so-called Negroes.
Right.
right? Simeon, who are our so-called Dominican brothers and sisters. We all lived together in a neighbor. We were neighbors to each other. So when that sound went off, we all came together, all 12 tribes, right? What's another thing that we did? What's another thing? Just to break it down a little bit more, just to break it down a little bit more. There was certain distinction of a sound of the horn that were specifically for the priests to gather together. That was specifically for the warriors to gather together. That was specifically for, certain assemblies, right? So we had war, so we blow the trumpet. We're going to get into some of the scriptures and break it down to show you, but I'm just giving it to you in a summary so we can see what we're celebrating today. We're celebrating a time and a significant piece of history that was a part of our communication, how we gathered together. We sound the horn not only to go to war, but when we won wars, to celebrate, to let you know we've got a victory. And our women and children that were in those communities hear that sound, and they getting lambs and cutting them up and preparing a feast and a celebration. You want to say something, brother?
Yes, it's a commemoration of the treatment of Gideon.
Say it one more time.
The Gideon.
The Giddy, right? Absolutely. Get a brother a hand. All right? That's another time in history.
The sound of the trumpet, it was not just communication, it also was the power of God.
That's right.
Announcing his power.
That's right.
And also in the second kind of the sound, will be also the sound of the trumpet.
Damn right. That brother, they know something.
The sound.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Brothers, he's saying it's so heavy. He's saying the same thing. We're going to get into that too. The Lord sounds the horn from heaven. The horns get sound from heaven, and they are terrible because the Lord is a terrible power, right? It said they trembled sometimes when they heard that horn. They got louder and louder, and they trembled because the Lord is a mighty God. He says the Bible says he's a terrible power, and that's what it's about. You understand? We do everything we do to give glory to the Most High. When we represent the Lord in our glorious attire, when we follow those laws, statutes, and commandments for the world to see, we're giving glory to the Most High. You understand? That's what he wants. He wants the glory. We can't do nothing that we're doing today without the power of the Most High. Where will we be today without those laws, statutes, and commandments? We'll be trodden under the feet of man. We'll be in the prison system right now. We'll be in the streets, in the ghettos. All right? So we're gonna go ahead and continue. Somebody, so besides the actual physical horn, like this shofar we have right here, somebody give me another example of a horn. How do we sound the horn today? That's a better question. That boy there could not. That boy could not. He got on. Go ahead.
The sound of the ambulance, right?
Nah, that ain't it. That ain't it. That ain't what I'm looking for.
What you looking for? Slack here.
Somebody give it to me. How do we sound the trumpet today? So we at war today, right? White police officers are killing blacks and Hispanics. They're deporting our Hispanic children, putting them in cages on the border, right? So many things that we're suffering in this country. We are at war. How do we sound the horn today to let our sisters and brothers know we're at war? Go ahead. Say it again. Let them know. So what are you saying essentially? So what is how are we sounding the trumpet? Yes. No, that's not it. Kabar, give it to me. That's right. Get a brother a hand.
There you go. That's right.
That's it.
Precept.
When we go out to those street corners on Saturday, we're sounding our voices a trumpet. Somebody give me Isaiah 58 and 1.
I was about to get there right now.
Somebody give me Isaiah 58 and 1. Our voice is a trumpet. We're warning the people with our voice, with our words. We're going out there. We're on that microphone and we're yelling at the top of our lungs.
I got it.
Telling the people that we got to gather together. Telling the people you got to put the drugs down. Right. You got to stop doing drugs. You got to stop being a criminal. You got to stop doing the things that you're doing against the Lord. You're angering the Lord, and we are under attack. And we out camping. We're doing that every Saturday. We're lifting up our voice. Go ahead.
Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Cry aloud.
Do what?
Cry aloud.
Do what?
Cry aloud.
Cry aloud. That's what we do. We cry aloud. We yell. They see us on the corners every day on a Saturday. They like, why are they yelling so much? Why are they screaming so much? Why are they so aggressive all the time? Why are they doing this? Why? Because our children are dying. Is that not something worthy of yelling and crying aloud for?
Right.
Our men are in the jail by the tunes of 1,000,000. Is that not enough to lift up our voice for and cry aloud? Our children, our women are being abducted and put into sex trafficking rings. Is that not enough to cry aloud? So don't ridicule us for being loud and angry. We're at war, and we're warning our people. Go ahead and continue.
Come on. Spare not.
What does it mean to spare not? What does it mean to spare not? We're crying aloud at camp, and it says spare not. How are we not? How can we spare not? Go ahead, Ayara. That's right. No holding back. What you was gonna say, Shemawan? Not caring about
That's
their
right.
feelings. Not sparing someone's feelings. How can we spare someone's feelings? If I don't tell you that smoking weed is bad, what is going to, and you because I think that you're going to be offended because I believe I'm going to blow your high. Then what am I essentially not doing for you? If I didn't tell somebody that they shouldn't get high because I didn't want them to look at me like I was uncool, then what am I not doing for them? Go ahead. No. Go ahead, you're wrong. I'm not helping them. Shemaiwan. I'm hindering them. I'm not saving their life. If I cared about what people thought about what's right, then nobody would ever do right. Because I wouldn't say anything. The men of God wouldn't say anything.
Right.
You think when Moses came out there with those 10 commandments, everybody wanted to hear that? You think everybody wanted to hear you should not kill your brother? Especially after he just had sex with your girl?
Damn.
Especially after he just robbed your house? You want to go kill him. You don't want to hear what Moses is talking about. Not thou shalt not murder. They didn't want to hear that. There's brothers today right now that are at war with each other. And if a man steps in and say, man, don't do that, man, you're going to end up in jail. They like, man, now get off me, man. I got to go do this. I got to go do that. But guess what? You did what you had to do. You said what you needed to say. You knew what was right. That brother's going to probably end up dead. So he's going to kill somebody that probably can be saved. And what's going to happen to him? He's going to end up in jail for the rest of his life. We have to say what's right to everybody. We have to cry aloud and say what's right to save their lives, no matter how they're going to feel about it. No matter what they think about what we're saying. We have to do the work of the Lord. Cry aloud, spare not. Go ahead.
Lift up thy voice like a trumpet.
Like a what?
Like a trumpet.
Like a what?
Like a trumpet.
Like a trumpet. We have to lift up our voice like a trumpet and sound an alarm. That's the trumpet today. Our voices. Coming out here and saying what's right. Saying what's wrong. Going out here and doing exactly what the Bible is about to say right now. Go ahead and continue.
Come on. And show my people their transgressions.
Show my people their transgressions, man. The Bible says train up a child in the way they should go. What does it mean to train up a child in the way they should go? Go ahead, Ayara. Raise them up how? Raise them right, righteously. And the only way to raise someone righteously is according to the law, according to the statutes and the commandments. These children need that. And because we as children didn't get it, now we're 30, 40, 50 years old and still behaving like children. Because no one came and showed us what's the way of life, how we should live, how we supposed to be husbands, how to be a husband. We learn how to be husbands from the real husbands of Hollywood. We learn how to be wives from the real basketball wives, wives of Hollywood and what's the Jersey City or Jersey Shore or whatever they got on TV. That's how we learn how to be mothers and fathers. No one's really teaching us the reality of how to do things, right? So we have to come out here and do it for not only just children's sake, but also adults' sake as well, because we didn't have that leadership in our homes when we were children, right? Go ahead and continue.
Come. And the house of Jacob.
The house of who?
The house of Jacob.
The house of who?
The house of Jacob.
Who is the house of Jacob? Go ahead, Yakal. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Give them a hand. That's what the house of Jacob is. That's a family of people. We are a family of people, man. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are one nation. And the same thing they're going through in Mexico, we going through right here as Blacks in America. Mexicans are here going through it right now in America. Same thing they're going through in Haiti, they're going through in Dominican Republic, right across that borderline. They're going through the same exact thing over there. We are one family, man. We got to come together and do what the Lord wants us to do, which is stop being sinners. Show the house of Jacob. Go ahead.
Come on. In the house of Jacob, their sins.
All right, now drop that. Give me Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter. Let me start me off at Ezekiel chapter 3. Let's start at verse 17.
Come on, sir. Ready?
Right, go ahead.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17.
Go ahead.
Son of man, I have made thee a watchman.
Right, I had son of man. Son of man means what? What does son of man mean? Go ahead, brother. Yes, Jesus Christ was the son of man as well. But there were other men who were referred to as son of man too. So what does son of man mean? Go ahead. No. Christ was the son of man. There were other men who were son of man. We can go and pull the scriptures where it says son of man and it's talking to someone else that's not Christ. Go ahead.
I just want to add before everybody wants to try to take another stab at it. This is Ezekiel. This is in the Old Testament. When it's saying son of man right here, it's in Ezekiel, the Old Testament.
That's true. Go ahead. Go ahead. Ayurah. He had his hand raised first.
Son of man.
Go ahead. We'll say it one more time.
The person who chose.
It's close.
That's it. That's close. Go ahead and give it to us, Yalawan.
Israel.
Israel. The men of Israel. The men of Israel are his sons. That's it. That's his sons. Christ was the son of man because he was a son of Israel. The word Israel means prince of the power. That's what it means. Son of God, son of man. That's why when the Bible, when it says the sons of God or the sons of man was having sex with the daughters of the sons of God was having sex with the daughters of men, it was talking about Israelites having sex with outside of their nation, making marriages outside of their nation, right? Son of man means a prince of the power, an Israelite man. And he's saying that I made you, Israelite men, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to be what?
Read on.
Go ahead. Read it. Son of man. Read
Son
it
of
again.
man, I have made thee, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
Son of man, I have made thee a watchman to the house of Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, men, we are supposed to be watchmen for our nation. He called us to be watchmen for our nation. Right? You at one point you was getting high, you was having sex with everybody you wanted to have sex with, and doing everything that you can imagine that your lustful mind and the deceit of your own heart can imagine. But then one day you learned the truth and you became a new creature in Christ. You changed your life, follow the law, statutes, and commandments, and you became a watchman. That's what we are here today in the UPK and the Commander General Yohana. We are watchmen of the house of Israel. We go out to those street corners every Saturday when we could be with our wives and children. We could be watching what happens on Saturday. I'm sure some good shows come on Saturday that we can be at home watching.
Right.
But instead, we have a job to do for our nation, to go out and be watchmen, to watch over each other, watch over our people. He said, I've made you a watchman over the house of Israel. Go ahead.
Come on. Therefore, hear the word at my mouth.
Go ahead.
And give them warning.
Give them what?
Give them warning.
Give them what?
Give them warning.
Go ahead.
From me.
From me. This what we're doing is of the Lord. We're going out here on Saturdays for the Lord.
That's right.
We're going out here and giving warning to people. The Bible says, come out of her, my people, and partake, and don't be partakers. You'll be partakers of her plagues.
That's right.
You got to come out of this place. What does it mean to come out of her? What is her? Go ahead, Shemaiwan. Her is America. And what does it mean to come out of her? Does it mean to get on a plane and go to Africa? Because if I'm last I checked, that culture of America is in Africa too. Last time I checked, the culture of America is in Japan. The culture of America is in Europe. That's why they're going to war right now with Ukraine, because they're trying to join Ukraine into NATO, and NATO is just American culture. Taiwan is trying to get, China doesn't want Taiwan to be a part of NATO because they don't want American culture to be in their lands. So they're going to war with these people. So what does it mean to come out of her? Go ahead. Copy R. Stop following their way of life. Come out of her. America says it's okay to be a homosexual. Do they not? Is it not lawful to be a homosexual and marry a man? Is that not lawful in this country? It is lawful. Is it lawful to the Most High? No, it's not. So you should come out of America. Just because America say you can do it and it's the thing to do, you should come out of her and not do it. And not do those things. America says it's lawful to smoke weed. Does it mean that's okay for us to smoke weed? No. You should come out of her and not smoke weed. You should come out of her and not celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and Easter. You should not do those things. You should come out of her spiritually. Come out of America spiritually. Right? Be ye separate. Follow God's laws. Go ahead and continue.
Come.
And that's what we're warning the people to do. Go ahead.
Verse 18. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die.
Thou shalt what?
Surely die.
That's what Most High told Adam, right? And Eve. He said, if you go and eat of the tree of good and evil, you shall surely die.
Right.
Now, let me ask you a question. What happened when they ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? Go ahead. What happened? No, what did they die? Did they die? The Lord said they would die. Shemai one. They died spiritually. They died. They did die. They did die. They died spiritually. It wasn't a physical death that the Lord told them that they would endure. If you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall surely die. The serpent said, you will not surely die.
Right.
And they did the things that the Lord told them not to do, and they were still alive. Because the death that the Lord was talking about in the time of Adam and Eve was a spiritual death. And right now we're spiritually dead for the same reason Adam and Eve died spiritually. Why is that? Copy y'all. Because we stopped following God's laws. We stopped following God's laws, statutes, commandments. Eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil is partaking in the other nations' cultures. That's what that means metaphorically. The knowledge of good and evil. The Lord told us to do this. Do this. Don't eat pork. The knowledge of good and evil is you finding out why the Lord told you not to eat pork. He told you not to eat pork, and you should have just listened. But because you ate pork, now you have the knowledge of good and evil, because guess what? You're going to find out the consequences of eating pork. If I tell my son, don't touch the stove because it's hot, he should just listen to me and not do it. But he can have the knowledge of good and evil by touching that stove and finding out why I told him not to do it.
Right.
Because he's going to get burned when he touches that stove. It's going to hurt. And our people are being burned today. And we're hurting today. Everywhere around the earth. We're hurting. We're mourning. We're grieving. We're depressed. We're stressed. You understand? We got mental disabilities. We're becoming narcissists and becoming, schizophrenic because of this mental. We're going insane. Bipolar disorder. All of these things are happening because it's genetically not okay for us to live the way we're living, to go through the things that we're going through. It's destroying. We're traumatized everywhere you look because of we're doing that. We're touching the stove. We're disobeying God. That's what we're doing. And we're spiritually, we're dead. We're suffering. And we have to go out here and warn the people, right? Because what does it say? It says, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die. We're dead spiritually, man. And we're suffering. We have to warn our people. We have to lift up that trumpet that we have.
Right.
And that's what we're memorializing today. The ability to go out here and warn our people of war, to warn our people of destruction, to warn our people of danger. to warn out, to signify to our people victory, success. We when the UPK, when a child in here graduates, gets good grades, we honor that.
Right.
We put it out into the world for the world to know.
That's right.
We put it on Facebook. We reward the children. You understand? Anybody that has children that didn't know that, let us know when your children are doing good in school. Say, hey, my child got good A's, straight A's in school today. They got B's and A's, and they got, honor roll. Let us know, because we're going to sound the trumpet for them. Everybody understands what I'm saying? We're going to sound the trumpet for them, so we all can celebrate, and that child can see everyone celebrate their accomplishments. And what is that going to do for that child? What is it going to do for that child, Shemai? It's going to create confidence with them. Go ahead.
It's also going to set the trend for those that see that, the other children that see that.
Other children are going to see that and want to get honor roll. Go ahead, copy y'all. Yeah, it's going to make them want to be better, keep on doing good. That's what we're doing, man. Go ahead and continue.
Come. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning.
Right. If we don't lift up that horn, brothers and sisters, if we don't go out here and do this job, if Moses didn't come down from that mountain and give us those commandments and those laws, go ahead and continue.
Come. Nor speaketh to warn the wicked from his wicked way.
Go ahead.
To save his life.
To do what?
To save his life.
To save his life, right? Because again, if we don't tell them the truth, the law, statutes, commandments, then we're not saving their life. If we care about how they feel about what we say, then we're not going to give them what they need to live. So if we don't do that, and Moses didn't do it, and Christ didn't do it, go ahead and continue.
Okay. The same wicked man shall die in his iniquity.
And then guess what? We're going to lose that brother, man. We're going to lose that sister. We're going to lose that child, man. And I don't know about y'all, but it don't have to be my child for me to mourn, for me to be zealous about doing this work. I do it for your child. I do it for your child. I do it for his child, and children that are out there that I don't even never knew before, that I don't see before, that are on the border under foil blankets right now. You understand what I'm saying? They're on the border under foil blankets, and guess what? We care about them, that they live, that they be able to have freedom and have a quality of life that we deserve. So we're going to do it, or else they're going to die. Go ahead and continue.
Come. But his blood will I require at thine hand.
But their blood, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, and Moses didn't come down there and give me what I needed to live, then their blood is going to be on our hands, man. Why is that? Why is that so? Go ahead, Alawan.
Okay, sir. Because it's your responsibility to be a watchman over Israel.
Right. That's right. He set us to be watchmen. And the only thing that's going to save their life is what we have right here. How could if you in the FEMA, right? You think about FEMA and the natural disasters, and people out here drowning because of a flood or tsunami and all the other things. How are they going to get saved if we don't go out there and send boats? You got all the boats. You got all the boats at your house, all of the boats at your house, and people out there drowning. How are they going to be saved if you don't go out there with the boats? If you don't take the boats out there? Everybody follow what I'm saying?
Right.
If you don't take them to boats, then they're going to die. They're going to drown. Well, that's what it is pertaining to this law, these laws. These laws is the breath of life. These commandments are the breath of life. And it's our job. We have it. The priests have the laws, the statutes and commandments, the spirit of Christ. And the only way the people are going to get it is if we give it to them. And the only way they're going to live is if they have it. So if we don't give it to them, they're going to die. And the blood is going to be on our hands. It's going to be on our hands because we had the boats and we didn't go out there and take it to them. So we're the reason they died. You understand? We're the reason that they died. Go ahead and continue.
Come. Verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked.
Yet if we go out here and warn the wicked, go ahead.
And he turned not from his wickedness.
And he turned not from his wickedness. Now again, I say, hey man, you shouldn't get high. He's like, man, you tripping, right? Because getting high is cool today. Right. It's cool. I mean, everybody's getting high. It's cool. So if you go and tell a brother, hey man, like you gotta put that weed down, they're gonna look at you like a mark or like a what they call people today, a lame. They're gonna look at you like a lame, like man, you lame.
Right.
But hey, you did what you were supposed to do, and now read that part again.
Okay. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness,
Now, if you warn him and he continues to do what he has to do, what he's doing, go ahead.
nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity.
Right, he shall die in his iniquity, man. It's gonna be he's gonna be the reason he loses his life, not me, because I sunk the boat out there. You just didn't get in the boat. You didn't get in it. You thought the boat was lame. You thought the boat was a mark, and you didn't get in it, so you drowned. This is what the Bible. This is what we're memorializing today. Now let's go ahead and drop that. Let me get Let's go back to Leviticus. Read that again. That chapter verse you was in.
Verse 24. Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall you have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets.
Okay.
A hope.
So drop that. Now again, this is what we're memorializing today, the blowing of the trumpets. We just went over our voices being the trumpet, warning the people today, congratulating our people today, lifting up our people today. You know what I mean? Bringing justice to our people today with what we say. You know what I mean? Like liberating people. We liberate people. We make people free. That's what the Bible says, right?
Right.
Ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. We free people with the truth, with our voices, what we say to them. We free them. Now let's get into something else. Let me get Leviticus. No.
What you looking for?
I want the one, I think it's in Joshua, where it talks about them where he was instructing them to create the horns.
Create the horns?
Yeah. And telling them what they were for.
Joshua?
It may not be Joshua. Let me see. Let me get let's Numbers. Let me get Numbers chapter 10, verse 1. Let's start there, all right? Numbers chapter 10, verse 1.
Am I reading something?
Yeah, you can have somebody else read. In fact, copy y'all, you can read. Grab that mic right there on the thing. Make sure it's on. All right. Let's get Numbers chapter 10, verse 1.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, verse 2, make thee 2 trumpets of silver.
Make thee what?
2 trumpets of silver.
Right? Make thee 2 trumpets of silver, right? So now he's instructing her. Give me 1 second. Go ahead and say, read it again.
Make thee 2 trumpets of silver.
Go ahead.
Of a whole piece shalt thou make them.
Of a whole piece shalt thou make them. Go ahead.
Thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly.
So that you may use them for the calling of the assembly, right? Like we talked about another example of using the horns, the calling of the assembly. Go ahead and continue.
And for the journey of the camps.
And for the journey of the camps. So now the assembly that we're talking about is the assembling of military, right? The camps. That's what we are. We're a camp here. These men here are in a camp, right? This is the San Antonio camp. And when I sound the horn, I need these brothers to come together and assemble, like we assembled today to be able to make this feast possible, right?
Right.
Give everybody a hand. Give all the brothers and sisters a hand today. You know what I mean? Call them together to come together today to make this feast possible. Set these chairs up to get this good food that we about to eat. To set up all of these glorious, ornaments and tables and computer and every other thing. And that's what we did. And this is warfare because this is necessary for us to do what we're doing right now. So he's assembling, and at times there was assembly of men to go to war. right? Like we talked about earlier, and that's what these camps are talking about right now. Go ahead and continue.
Verse 3. And when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to be
Go ahead.
at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Go ahead. So he would blow the horn, and all of the camps would come together at the door of the temple, and of where we congregate at. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And if they blow out, but with one trumpet,
if they blow out with one trumpet, go ahead.
Then the princes, which are heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather themselves unto thee.
So now, if one trumpet blows, then guess what? It's a particular people that come to assemble. What is that particular people? Go ahead.
The princes.
Right, the princes which are heads of thousands of Israel, the leaders, the leaders of the Israelites, right? The men who have rank, right? The men who are captains and generals and officers and troopers, they come together, right? Go ahead and continue. I'm too well.
Verse 5. When ye blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east parts shall go forward.
Right. So now in the time when we thinking about when we go into war, we blow the trumpet a specific way and all the camps gather together. We blow a trumpet a specific way and all the princes come together. All the leaders come together. Then we blow another trumpet a certain way, and then guess what? Read it again, verse 5.
Verse 5. When ye blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east parts shall go forward.
So now we got an understanding that when we blow the trumpet, the camps that are on the east move forward. Right? This is military actions, right? We blow a trumpet, we move in from the east. Go ahead.
Verse 6. When ye blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey.
Right. So when we blow the horn the second time, then the camps on the south side move in. This is all military movements that we're doing, that we're using the horn to be able to signify, because it's an easy way for, like Ayala said, for us to communicate with each other, for us to get things done without giving up what our moves are, right? We do that to this day. Don't we do certain things? We make certain sounds to one another, or we say certain things to one another that ain't really English. It ain't really a language, but it's something that we understand. You know what I mean? So that's what we do. We have a specific distinction to different sounds, what we use to signify different things. So when that first horn sound, the enemies don't know that we're coming from the east. When you sound that second sound, the enemies don't know that we got an ambush coming from the south. Go ahead and continue.
They shall blow an alarm for their journeys.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. But when the congregation is to be gathered together, ye shall blow, but ye shall not sound an alarm. Verse 8. And the sons of the Aaron, the priests, shall blow with the trumpets.
That's right. The sons of Aaron, the priests, shall blow with the trumpets. Because that was another thing that we did today, that we still do today. We blow the trumpet, the priests. That's what we have right there. Lift that up on Yalawan. That shofar.
That's right. Yeah.
That's what we do right now. The priests blow the shofar now. We blew it in the beginning of the Sabbath service today. We're going to blow it again at the end of Sabbath service. We blow it in our holy days. We do it all the time. That's what the priests do. Go ahead and continue.
And they shall be to you for an ordinance.
Right? There shall be to you for an ordinance. It's right to call order. Go ahead and continue.
Forever throughout your generations.
Right. And this is not just then, in the time of Joshua, in the time of Moses. It was all the way up into the time of Christ as well. You understand? Christ, they followed these same things. We raised up those disciples and those apostles. We took them from their slaveries. When they was out fishing in the boats and working in the tax office, and he told them, come be with me and be fishers of men. He showed them these traditions. Christ showed them this culture, and they followed it. And we still do it today. Commander Jenny Hanna has held on to those traditions that was given to him in 1969. You understand? He held on to those traditions that he held on to 1969. Where we at now? Go ahead, give me verse 9.
Verse 9. And if ye go to war in your land against the enemy
Mhm.
that oppresseth you,
Right now, this is very familiar. Right now, we're at war. You understand? In our land, like we was first of all, we was in war in Jerusalem, right? In 70 AD, when we had to go to war against the Romans, and we fled out of Rome, out of Jerusalem, and went into Africa, right? I'm sure horns were sounded then. When the Romans started to invade into Jerusalem, they sounded the horn. Like the Romans are coming. And the Romans came and they were saying, raise it, raise it. They were saying, destroy it, tear it to the ground. That's what they did. And they came and they tore Jerusalem to the ground. They took over our land. And we had to get up out of there. Right? Now, today is the same thing. We're in the land right now, and we're at war against our enemy that right now that oppresses us today. Are we not? Anyone who doesn't believe that is a fool. Right? The Bible says oppression makes a wise man mad, man. And I see a lot of mad, angry blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians. I see blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians so angry and mad that they're killing each other, that they're abusing their own children. When we seen that, when we was down at that border in Rio Grande, Del Rio and Ciudad Acuña, those Haitians were so oppressed that they were starving their kids. They didn't even have nothing to give their kids. They was like, I gotta eat, and it was dog eat dog down there. But through the leadership and the watchmen of God, you understand, and the Isupk and the Commander General, we provided what they needed to not have to fight and kill each other, to not have to starve one another. We went down there and gave them food and gave them the truth, and that's what we do. But again, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are angry because of oppression, because we're oppressed. Black people not killing each other because they just feel like doing it. They're oppressed. They ain't got no money. They wife left them. They ain't seen their kids since they was born. I'm saying something that's foreign. You know what I mean? Like, we don't, some brothers have never seen their children. Some brothers in danger of losing their kids today. Whole families are losing their kids. They taking Mexican children right now. Tell you what, they on the border. You understand? So we're angry. That doesn't make us go home and want to cook meals and be happy. No, it makes us snap when something little happens. When we see somebody talks us the wrong way, our brother stepped on our shoe, we got to kill him now. We got to kill our brother. He stepped on our shoe. And it's not because we just want to kill our brother. It's because we're oppressed, man. We're at war. Go ahead and continue.
then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpets.
Right. And that's why we're going out here doing what we're doing today in the Isupk. And every brother in here that goes out and does the work of the Lord is worthy of praise, man. It's worthy of the honor that is required, that is due, because you're doing a job that any man cannot do.
Right.
For one, you have to be an Israelite, and two, you have to be no coward. You have to be no coward, and some people rather smoke. Some people rather get high than to stop smoking and go save their people. Some people rather, celebrate Christmas than to stop and go give the children of Israel what they need. So you brothers are no cowards, man.
Right.
You brothers are no cowards to do what you do. You understand? So when we go out here, we're blowing and we're sounding an alarm. We're warning the people of what's happening. Go ahead and continue.
And ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God.
Damn right. You shall be remembered, man. How do we know that it's true? That you shall be remembered. How do we know? How do we know that it's true that you will be remembered for doing the work of the Lord? Go ahead, Caviar. No, that's not it.
Wait, I'm trying to figure out what angle you're going at.
Yeah, that's what we hope will happen, but how do we know that it's going to happen? That's right what you're saying, but because that's what being remembered means. Like it's gonna be talked about throughout our generations. Our children are gonna hear about these stories of what you've done in Ciudad Acuña in Mexico, the mission to Acuña. They're gonna hear about what you did in the Kentucky 8. They're gonna hear about what you did in Times Square and in New York and Philadelphia and Mexico and Dominican DR, the Republic of Dominican, right? They're gonna hear about these things, what you've done. But how do we know for sure?
Well, it's a promise in Revelations.
Say it one more time.
There is a promise in Revelations.
Well, he's promising us right now. He's promising us right now. That's what he's saying. He's saying that you will be remembered. What does it say? Read it again. And ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God. How? I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
cheated. We'll get out of oppression.
Huh?
We'll be out of oppression.
It's not gonna be it. We're gonna remember because how do we know? Because of this right here. Because these stories that we're reading out in this Bible are stories of men who did the work of God that we read about to this day. We're reading about it right now. We're in the book of Numbers. We're reading the book of Mark, Luke, John, and Isaiah and Ezekiel. We're reading about those men that did these things in their time, thousands of years ago. We're remembering it today, and you will be remembered thousands of years from now, the same as these men were. Everybody understands, right? Go ahead, continue.
And ye shall be saved from your enemies.
And that's the best part of it all. You shall be saved from your enemies, man. And your enemies are the most, what does the Bible say about them? The most subtle beast of the field. I'm talking about the biggest manipulators, the biggest narcissists. We talk about every day, oh, he's a narcissist, and women throw a man away, call him a narcissist, just because, he want her to make him a sandwich. You know what I mean? And he's a narcissist. And they throw him away. When when these people are the real narcissists, they're the real psychos, the real gangsters, the real murderers. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we murder because we are in danger. We're trying to survive. They murder to rule over our lands, to oppress us. So again, when we do what the Lord wants us to do, we'll be saved from our enemies. And that's what we're doing. And we can not only sound the horn to let you know right now and today in 2022 that we're at war, but we can also sound the alarm to let you know that we're at peace. Because our enemies are not our enemy. We're safe from our enemies when we're following these laws, statutes, and commandments. That is the truth. All right. Take me to let's go to Joshua chapter 6, verse 5. Let's start at 6 and 1, I believe. This is the story of Joshua, right? When Moses died because Moses didn't follow the God's instructions. That's why Moses didn't make it into the promised land. Because not only do you have to follow God's laws, statutes, and commandments, you have to follow the instructions of God. The instructions, right? The Lord told Moses to do what? To put the stick before the rock, and that water would come out of the rock. But instead of Moses just holding the stick to the rock, he hit the rock with the stick. Now, which one would be more fascinating? If you just held the stick right there and water just started to come out of it, or if you bashed it and water came out of it? Go ahead. If you held it there. Because who can explain that? Who can explain me holding the stick before a rock and then water starting to come out of it? But it's probably water behind that rock. And if I smashed it, then all I did was make way for the water to come out. And that could be, that's something that we can make sense of.
Right.
But because Moses didn't just hold the stick there and let the water come out, guess what wasn't able to happen? Go ahead.
He wasn't able to make it to the kingdom.
No, that wasn't it.
Oh,
Go ahead.
he wasn't able to give God the glory.
That's right, good man. The Most High could not get the glory. The Most High could not get the glory. The Most High got the glory because if I just stand there right there and do this and water come out, surely didn't have the power to do that. Surely I did not have the power to do that. The Lord is the one that had the power, and when He did that, all of Israel would have been able to see that and say, "This is a real God that we serve." Then the Lord is truly with Moses. But instead, Moses hitting that rock made him the man. Oh, damn, Moses is the man. Look what Moses did. It's all about Moses. And that's not what the Lord wanted. Because he didn't follow that simple instruction, he didn't make it into the promised land. Is there a law that says you shouldn't smash the rock? Is there a law that says don't hit a rock with a stick? There's no law that says that, because that wasn't a law that he gave him. It was an order. And following orders is of the Lord as well. It's of the Lord.
Right.
Orders will save your life.
Right.
Give me what I want now. So now we lead into Moses dying, right? Because he died before he got to the promised land. Because like I said, the Lord chooses a man every time. He came to Joshua and chose Joshua. You want to say something, Bar?
Following orders will also save somebody else's life.
The brother is bringing out is so heavy. And that's why I use all the time when I'm counseling people that do it for your children. You know what I mean? Follow the orders in the laws for your children's sake, for your wife's sake,
Right.
for your husband's sake.
Right.
Because the Lord will show, he will discipline you through your family. That's in the Bible, right? The brother know that's in there. When David had sex with that woman in that kingdom, when he had committed adultery with that woman, who paid for his sin? I want the brother right here. Who paid for David's sin?
Who paid for David's sin?
Yes, when he committed adultery with.
It was the husband of the woman that he
No, that's not it.
he was sent to be killed.
Yeah, he was sent to be killed.
So he suffered.
He was sent to be killed. But what was David's punishment for committing adultery?
Not being able to be chosen. The scripture says that he will not be resurrected on the first resurrection.
That ain't it.
That's that
Copy R.
his child.
His child died. Everybody remembers that story, huh? Go check it. Go look at it. It's in Samuel. Go read it. His son died. That child that he had with that woman he had committed adultery with, that baby didn't make it. The Lord took the baby's life. And that's what happens in Israel. If you don't follow orders and follow the laws, your family will pay. It won't just be you. So when I tell people, when I'm trying to convince a brother to stop doing drugs, I focus on the people he cares about most. Do you care about your daughter? Do you care about your wife? Do you care about, because a lot of times we don't care about ourselves, right? That's how destroyed we are. Sometimes we don't, we just say, I ain't this, I don't want to, curse, but I ain't poop, right? I ain't nothing. I ain't going to be nothing. And we give up on ourselves. But sometimes the fuel that we need is the care of what we'll do for someone else, right? And this to let y'all know and understand something very great and important. That was the reason for Christ's death, that we can stop smoking and committing sins for his sake, because he gave his life. You understand? Christ's life was important. He died for you to not be a sinner. So guess what? If you won't do it for yourself, do it for Christ. He lost his life. He didn't have to lose his life. He was poor. He was perfect. He was the greatest man that ever walked the earth. He didn't have to do that. He came and he died for you. No different than I would die for you. No different than Yalawan and these brothers in the Isupk and the Commander General Hana would die for one another, would die for you. And guess what? After I lose my life, I would hope that you come to righteousness. Because that's all I ever wanted for you, was to be righteous. That's all we ever wanted in here. That's all Commander General wants, is for Israel to be saved, for us to repent from our sins. So if I lose Commander General, we lose these men, lose me, guess what? You're going to remember what I stood for, what I wanted of you. And that's how we have to think about Christ as well. So sometimes doing it for someone else is what makes you be better. All right? So again, the brother just got me in a whole different lesson now. But following orders, you understand? That's save your life as well. You understand? That'll save your life as well. Moses didn't do that. He died. Now another man is raised up in his stead, who was Joshua, and that's what we're about to read about right now. Go ahead. No, because I think they do sound the trumpets in verse 1 in chapter 1 too, right? You see it there? But take me to 6 for now, because I don't know where exact scripture, and I don't want to waste everybody's time unless someone knows it.
Which one?
In Joshua, when they went across the river Jericho, and he told the priest to go out there before him and to sound the trumpets, to circle the city and sound the trumpets. If I'm not mistaken, that may be in chapter 1, but that's the instance that I may know before what I'm about to read right now. It's in the 6th chapter. All right, so give it to me.
Try verse 5.
So give me verse 6. Chapter 1. Chapter 6, verse 1. So start me off at 1, all right?
There you go.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 6, verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now Jericho.
Now what?
Now Jericho.
Now Jericho, right? This is the land where the Lord promised us. I'm going to let y'all in on a little secret. Jericho was already somebody's land. Somebody was already living in Jericho. Did y'all know the land that the Lord promised us was somebody else's land already? Who knew that? Right. That's the God that we serve. He gave us somebody else's land. He sent us in there and promised us somebody else's land. And this is what happened. Go ahead and continue.
Now Jericho was straightly shut up because of the children of Israel. None went out, and none came in.
Mm-hmm. Right, because we had the city surrounded. Nobody in the city can come out the city or go in the city. We had it on the perimeter. Go ahead.
Verse 2, and the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hand Jericho.
That's right. So this is after they've already gone into Jericho and defeated the people that were in the city. I forgot what the people were, maybe the Midianites, or I forgot who they were. But he already defeated the city, the people of the city. Go ahead. And the Lord said, I gave you the city. Go ahead.
And the king thereof.
Mm-hmm. And the king thereof, right? Because the ruler of that city now becomes a servant to these people. He's delivering us to the servant. Y'all seen King of Thrones? What is it called? Game of Thrones. Right? When they go and they take the king's sword, either they kill him, or most of the time they kill him. But a lot of times they'll bring them into captivity and make them serve in their society. Go ahead and continue.
And the mighty men of valor.
The mighty men of what?
Valor.
Right. And the mighty men of valor. See, I have given unto thine hand Jericho and the king thereof and the mighty men of valor, meaning all of their men that were soldiers in that city are now under your rulership. Go ahead.
Verse 3, and ye shall compass the city, all ye men of war, and go round about the city once.
And go round about the city once. Right? What does that sound like? What does that sound like? I know what it sounds like in my mind, but maybe y'all can see it. Because now at this point, they've gone into Jericho. The Lord parted the river. See, people don't know that. It wasn't just the Red Sea that was parted.
Right.
The Lord parted Jericho as well. Jordan, the river Jordan. Right? He parted the river Jordan as well. They came in there. They was waiting for the orders. They was following all the instructions. They attacked, defeated everybody in the city. And the Lord said, now it's yours. Not only that, the king is yours. The men of valor, everything that's here is yours. And he said, now go take the men and go round about the city. Make one lap around the city. What does that sound like to you? Go ahead. That ain't it. I know how your rod got it because he an old battling nigga. He probably do this in the ring when he beat somebody up. It's but that's right. But what is the word I'm looking for?
Victory lap.
Victory lap. Victory lap, right? Flexing. You know what I mean? Showboating. They did a victory lap. Victory lap around the whole city. You know what I mean? A whole victory lap around the city that's now ours. Now continue.
Thus shalt thou do 6 days.
Now do it for 6 days. Do this for 6 days. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of rams.
Right? 7 trumpets of rams what?
Horns.
Right, like this shofar right here. 7 ram's horns. You know what I mean? It says what? 7 priests are going to go before the ark because we had the Ark of the Covenant at this time.
Right. We
were carrying the Ark of the Covenant all through the wilderness, out of Egypt, going into the land of Jericho with the Ark of the Covenant. So now it's saying with the Ark of the Covenant, take 7 priests and have them with 7 ram's horns or trumpets. Go ahead.
It's like you said, the Ark of the Covenant is something the covenant is used as something even in wartime, right?
That's right.
Now, in the book that we read about the Native Americans, it was written in the 1800s that referred to the 1500s when the Spanish friars were studying the Native Americans. They did the same exact thing. So it was something that they kept from our culture, even from the ancient times.
That's right. That's right. You know what I mean? Because really all the way into coming into America, like our so-called Hispanics and Native Indian brothers, they came to America. They were the first people here, the Native Indians and the Hispanics. They were here first, and they came here to serve their God. That's what the Bible says. They said they were going to leave out of that land and go to the land where no man dwelt in order to get it right this time, to serve their God. Free from foreign rulership, free from oppression, free from every other societies and their culture. They came to America. They were the first ones here. And they came here to serve their God. And that's why some of those artifacts that you find of the Native Indians and the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas, they have the shield on them. This right here. They have the shield on them. They have fringes on their clothes and their garments. You know what I mean? They have those things. They did practice those traditions. They wrote in ancient Hebrew on stones. They built infrastructures as temples. So again, these traditions are not really, something that's long, so far gone old. We've been doing this up until recent times.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Go ahead and continue.
In the seventh day ye shall compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with the trumpets.
So they going around, they doing the victory lap. They blowing the trumpets. What are they blowing the trumpets for right now? Go ahead.
A celebration.
A celebration to signify to everybody we are in here. We won this. This is ours. The Lord is with us. We've conquered this city. This is our home now. Now we're going to divide this up amongst the Issacharites. Now we're going to divide this up amongst the Zebulonites. The Zebulonites, you get this side over there. The Issacharites, you get that side. Judah, you get that side. You get this side, and they're going to split that land up, and they're going to do a lap, blow the trumpet, so on and so forth. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 5. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when ye hear the sound of the trumpets, all the people shall shout with a great shout.
All the people shall shout with a great shout. Y'all hear us at these parties that we go to. Some of us may not party no more, club no more, but I know you remember the day when you was at the parties and at the club and you was yelling "Whereby" and all of the other stuff that you can yell, signifying having a good time and celebration, right? That's what we're doing. We're yelling and celebrating, crying and screaming aloud. A great sound, right? Go ahead. A great shout.
And the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up every man straight before him.
All right, that's right. You understand? So you can go ahead and drop that. That's another instance right there of blowing the trumpets. You know what I mean? That's a time of victory and war. There's one more scripture where I want to get, and it talks a little bit more detail about it talks about when they came together and they blew the trumpet, and it was for specific ranks of people to come in. Let me see. Salagi, I had the scripture.
Did it mention any specific ranks?
I'm not even sure. Joel. Joel. That sounds about right. Joel chapter.
You said Job or Joel?
Joel. Okay. Hold on, let me see.
Let me see if I can help you out with that.
And Numbers chapter 10. That's what I just read, huh? That's what I just went in. Okay, that might be the only one. What's the one in Revelation that I asked you for about the trumpets in heaven? What you want to say? What you got?
Joel chapter 2.
Joel chapter 2.
One of these.
That might be it. It does say specific ranks.
I have to read along.
No sweat. Let me get the
Oh,
Let me get the one in Revelation. Will you say that?
Joel 2:15. See, that's it right there.
Let me see right quick.
As the people sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children. Though that one?
Let me see. I'm gonna get it right now because I kind of remember.
That one's right before it says, I will remove far off from you the northern army. Man, that's definitely heavy right there.
Let me see.
Angels is Revelation 8.
Revelations 8. All right, let's just get that one for now, so we don't waste time because we coming up on the time of 9 o'clock and everybody we need to eat and everything going on. So what you got? Yeah, Revelation chapter 8. 8 and what? Canuck.
Get that. Revelation 8.
The whole chapter.
Eight, that one?
The whole chapter. Yeah. The whole entire chapter.
10 o'clock in class? Or
Like
Yeah,
I said,
man.
Galatians 8 and 1.
What's the part where it talks about the horn specifically? Yes, sir?
8 and 1.
We about to find out right now. 8 and
I can find it. Let me see.
This one?
you got it. Canuck. Let's get verse 6.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 8, verse 6. And the 7 angels.
Now, hold up. Now we're talking about the angels. The angels exist where? Where do the angels exist? Go ahead. Yeah, that is true, but where are they at? Like, go ahead, Razan.
Fourth dimension.
Right, in the fourth dimension, what we consider like the heavens, right? The heavens, right? Heaven. So now we're talking about 7 angels. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Which the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
Now we're talking about trumpets being sounded from heaven. And this is a totally different level of magnitude of horns. This is what the brother right here was talking about earlier. You know what I mean? This is what he was talking about earlier. I mean, you talking about the Lord's power. You understand? You talk about the Lord's power. When them horns from heaven get sounded, you better know something. You better know something. And the Lord in the heavens, I mean, let's just break it down. Let's go ahead and get into it real quick. Go ahead.
Verse 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire.
Therefore, what follow what?
Hail and fire.
And what?
Hail and fire.
Keep on going.
Mingled with blood.
Mingled with blood. You understand? This is a whole nother level of destruction. It's a whole nother alarm. This alarm is signifying destruction. You understand? Hell and fire mingled with blood. Go ahead and continue.
And they were cast upon the earth.
Go ahead.
And the third part of trees was burnt up.
And the third part of the trees was burnt up. What is this talking about? The third part of the trees was burnt up. Go ahead.
It's talking about people. Right? You talking about like mankind? Or you talking about like just everywhere where there's greenery?
Okay, read the rest.
And all green grass was burnt up.
Right. So a third part. So the third part, when you think of a third of something, is that a bigger portion of everything or is that a smaller portion? Is it? 1/3. But 1/3 though. So 1/3 is still 2/3 that are left. Right? 1/3 is not bigger than 2/3. Right? So we're talking about a smaller portion of the whole. So 1/3 part of trees was burned up. What is this talking about? Go ahead.
Like actual fire, the grass and the trees being burnt up.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead. No. Okay, so we're in Revelation, right? Everybody knows Revelation is talking about the end times, right? The last days. We know what the last days is all about. If anybody doesn't know, then we can break it down for you. Go ahead, Caviar.
Like people being like people's houses being burnt up and all that. They're running from the fire.
That's not it. Go ahead, you're right.
I'm gonna say maybe like food shortages and crops.
No, this is talking about, okay, so it says fire, hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up.
It's like
Right? Go ahead.
land in general.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Go ahead. No, all right, I'm gonna give it to you. This is talking about America, right? Because when we talk about the lake of fire, right? Y'all know about the lake of fire. The lake of fire is talking about what? Go ahead.
America.
Right, because a lake is, what is a lake compared to a sea? It's a small thing, right? A sea is bigger than a lake. An ocean is bigger than a sea. It's bigger than a lake as well. The lake of fire is talking about a specific part of the earth being destroyed, being on fire. Go ahead and continue. And of course, that's going to be on fire because of thermonuclear war.
It's
If
like,
anybody
sir.
didn't know, go ahead.
So to kind of be a little bit more specific, you're talking about like a continent.
Right, right. Go ahead up.
Verse 8. Then the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire
Mhm.
was cast into the sea.
Mhm.
And the third part of the sea became blood.
Right. Go ahead. Okay, so where's the where do we get at with the part with about the horns at?
It's like blood.
The horns.
That's
Nonetheless, this is what it is, right? This is the sound of the horns. These are the horns sounding in all of these scriptures. Every angel that sounds a horn is a different part of destruction that's going to come to the earth in the end times. There's a different part of destruction that's going to come to the earth in the end times. One horn is going to sound, and it's going to be fire and brimstone. Another horn is going to sound, and the water is going to turn to blood. Right? We've seen that already. We've seen the water turn to blood. You know what I mean? What does the next one say? The third horn sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp and it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of the rivers. And the name of the star is called Wormwood. And the third part of the waters became wormwood. And many men died of the waters because they were made bitter. This is all talking about everything that's happening, the famine, like you were talking about, right? Now we get into famine. Now we get into pollution of waters. Waters drying up, right? Pestilence, which is going to come next, if I'm not mistaken.
it's like, sir.
Go ahead.
Just to kind of add to what you're saying, because like what Cap brought out at camp, we was talking about the Euphrates River drying up,
Right.
and how that ties in with the sixth seal, the sixth trumpet that was being blown on the earth.
That's right.
I'm looking at articles from Al Jazeera, Jordan News, ANF, Arab News, talking about those same rivers drying up 4 days ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like something that doesn't happen normally, something that hasn't happened for who knows how long. It's happening right now.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right. So, long of the story short, this portion of what we're talking about is the horns that are being sounded from heaven, right? Because even when we go into Revelation, the 18th chapter, when it says, I heard another voice from heaven, those voices are horns from the angels. And it's saying, come out of her, like I was talking about earlier, so you don't receive her plagues. And those plagues are going to be pestilence. It's going to be famine. It's going to be wars, right? Like World War III is going to happen. So again, these things are what we're memorializing today, Akwati. We're memorializing these things today so we can understand the importance of what our people did and why we did it, and how they were looked at and how they were viewed. And that's how we should be looking at it today. And we should remember it throughout our generations, because not only do when we talk about, why we blew trumpets, but we get into these stories as we did today. We're able to get into these stories and get into prophecies that are going to be beneficial for us to know in our times and even for times to come. All right. So with that, I'm going to close out the class. We can go ahead and everybody. What you need?
We just need the Lord's Prayer.
Oh, okay. All right, everybody. Amadium, which means to stand. You can go ahead and lead it out, whatever you need to do.
Going
brother.
calm. Sar.
We gotta do the wine and all that too, right? Blow
Yeah,
the
you can go
trumpet,
ahead and pour that.
blow the horn. You gotta definitely blow the horn.
There's some
I don't want to forget to do that
cup
today,
right
right? Okay, I got you.
Blue cup got some.
We do that before we blow the horn, right? I got you. So this is also a tradition too, to pour the wine and pass it to the brother, right? You're gonna put your salute up, and I'm gonna pass this to you. And we both gonna turn to our people, and you're gonna make a toast to Israel. You're gonna say La Yasha Allah. Hold it.
La Yasha Allah. La Yasha Allah.
We all repeat it. You say La Yasha Allah. La Yasha Allah is Hebrew. It means to Israel. We're making a toast to our people, to Israel. All right? You can go. You take a sip already? No. All right, you can go ahead and set it down. You're gonna sound the horn. All right. Go ahead, Yalawan. You can lead it out.
All right. Sar, which means to turn. We're gonna face towards the east. Wapanya Hakwadam.
Oh, Salaki, the scroll. We gotta cover the scroll back up.
Oh,
The
yeah.
water.
Slide straight up.
Put this over your shoulder. There we go.
All right. Sar, Yapanya Hakwadam, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to finish with the Lord's Prayer in the Lashawan Kodash, and then in the English. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Thaba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Hashemayim, Athalanawa, Lacham, Kal, Yawam, Masalachanawa, Kabawath now, Kasalach now, Kabawath now, Wala'ah, Tabiya'ai now, Balasaya 1, Abal, Harashai now, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Waha Allah, Wa Tapara, La I will love you. Aman.
Amen. Now we're gonna say the prayer in English. Our
Father,
which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Hallowed be thy name.
Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. All right, Sar, we're going to turn some face of brothers for one courtesy salute. All right, sisters, you can be seated. Sisters, be seated. I'm going to do one courtesy salute for all the brothers. Men of Israel, Ahmadu Shabbat, Ahmadu, Barak, Yagim Matah, Sar. I'm turning to face our sisters. Sisters Ahmadu. And if you can see the sisters right here, how they have their stance, hand, one hand and the other. This is how the sisters stand right here. If you can turn and look at Sister Kasala, you hold your hand like this. Sister right here, Maya Cow. And you're going to do the salute. If you don't know it, then we'll say it. Then you'll just repeat after me, all right? Men of Israel, Ahmadim Shabbat, Ahmadim, Barak,
Yahweh Shabbat.
So you're going to put your hand over your heart, over your chest. You're going to say Yahweh, Shamar, Al, Athel, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah. Yagim Matah, which means hand down. Class dismissed. Yeah. Oh, we